What's going on, Player Profiler Nation? It's Matty Kiwoom here. I will be joined momentarily by the host of the Dynasty Roundtable, Matt Babich. He will be hopping on in a second, but these questions started piling up, so I knew I had to go live so that we could start getting these lineup questions answered. We're going to start here with Brandon. Handy needs one: Lockett, Hubbard, or Myers. Man, I like Chuba Hubbard this week. Lockett, I'm going to go Jacoby Myers, though. I think this is a squeaky wheel game for the wide receivers for the Las Vegas Raiders in a matchup that I do believe they can take advantage of, as now they will be hosting this week. So I'm going with Myers here. Dustin Brown, Dynasty PPR 12-team Superflex League. P. Ryan droppable for a guy like Clifford. Here we go. Matt Babich is here. Let's go. What up, Matty? Woo! So we got only one question answered, but we're going to rattle these off. They're already piling up here. So Dustin's asking, is P. Ryan droppable for a guy like Sean Clifford?
I mean, with the state of quarterbacks, I think if you're a QB needy team in Superflex, a lot of teams are finding themselves without a quarterback to start. So, I mean, P. Ryan's not giving you any additional value right now.
Yeah,
behind now Williams and McLaughlin. So yeah, I'm all for stashing a guy like Sean Clifford who could get some action if Jordan Love gets hurt or pulled.
Well, I saw today, isn't he not? He's not. Love's not starting today, right? Isn't it? Oh my God! I probably should have made sure I had this in the bag ready to go. But I swear I saw an alert that someone else was starting. It wasn't Clifford though. It was the other guy that they have in the roster.
Oh my God. I did not see that at all.
We'll get a look see here, but I think Matt's point is right, Dustin. P. Ryan's really not giving you much. If you have a chance to get a guy like Clifford and he plays this year, I think that could bring you a whole lot more value. PPR, Quentin Johnston with Palmer hurt or Christian Watson?
Well, now there's this question on whether or not Jordan Love's even playing. So if Jordan Love's not playing, I'm going with Quentin Johnston. A good amount of opportunity should come his way with Justin Herbert attached to him. So even though I don't think a big game from Quentin Johnston means he's not a bust yet, I do think Johnston outscores Watson if Jordan Love doesn't play. If Jordan Love is playing as normal, I would lean Watson as well.
Okay, so we do have clarification. First and foremost, I'm a moron, but it was Brett Ripien is starting for the Rams against the Packers. I saw Brett Ripien. I saw Packers, and my brain went, oh my God. But I just double checked. Brett Ripien is starting for the Rams against the Packers. So Jordan Love will be in there. So Christian Watson over Quentin Johnston. Also, don't forget, Quentin Johnston is going to be drawing a lot of Sauce Gardner on Monday Night Football. That is not going to be easy going for a guy who has not really shown the ability to get open so far this year. William Ford, how comfortable are we with Cooper Kupp? Should he play over Godwin, Demario Douglas, and DK?
Godwin and DK for sure. No, Douglas is where I draw the line, but I would probably take Kupp over Douglas because of that, Tom Savage corollary. Brett Rippen's Kupp could get 15 targets today.
For sure.
He's going to get his, and the talent level is far above Douglas, obviously.
Yeah, I agree with that. And the targets will be there. They're going to have to here's the thing. Let me just ask it to you this way, because I think this could answer a lot of people's questions all here at once. Do they run the ball 55 times with Henderson and Royce Freeman? Or do they let Brett Ripp throw it a little bit?
I mean, they very well could, but that's waving the white flag to the highest degree I've ever seen in a few years in the NFL. So I think Rippen's going to get his opportunities. McVay, he's very much a system coach. So if he has Rippen on his team, I think he trusts him to run his system. He wouldn't go get guys like Baker Mayfield. He's strategic, the Rams know that Stafford has some injury concerns. And so they're going to get a backup quarterback that they think can at least run the offense to a competent degree. So I think Rippen's going to throw.
Yeah, that's a great point. Sometimes it's time, we have to stop sleeping on Sean McVay. He'll get it done with whoever we have in the lineup. He's one of those type. Daniel's asking Puka or Tyler Lockett.
Ooh, that one's close. And I'm actually pulling up the upside finder right now. And that's generally situations where I lean. Let's just see what the upside finder says. because it's a great tool to get an idea of the ceiling. And so, I mean, from the upside finder, it's given Puka a safer floor and ceiling now, to be completely honest. I don't know if Stafford's baked into that projection. It seems like it is. So with Stafford out, I think I lean Lockett in what could be a shootout in Baltimore.
Okay, here we go. We got follow-up question here. PPR, Njoku or McBride?
Njoku.
Okay.
Oh, it's tough because the commenter Daniel makes a good point where the splits with Njoku with Walker versus Watson are pretty wild, but at the same time, Watson's been watching these games and he's been seeing what Njoku can do. So is he gonna continue to force the ball to Elijah Moore 8-9 times and get 2 of those completed, or is he gonna say, hey, PJ's been finding success in this offense with Njoku, so maybe that's a guy we need to keep feeding? Versus the Cleveland Browns have been very good at stifling tight ends, and we don't really know who Clayton Tune's going to lock onto. We know there's no Michael Wilson, so we know that Marquise Brown's going to get a lot of targets, which does push McBride up a little bit, with Michael Wilson out. But I see similar target shares for these 2 tight ends, and I'll ride the one that's on the better offense with the worst defensive matchup.
I'm with you there. I'm gonna go with Njoku here, and I think there is a chance that we have to factor in Arizona having a complete meltdown of a game. They're starting Keontae Ingram at running back. They have no Michael Wilson. Clayton Tune's first game ever. It feels like one of those games where they may put up 7 points. It could just be an absolute horrific offensive output against a very, very good defense. So I'm avoiding that altogether, and I'm going to go with Njoku. Liam 40. Here we go. Chuba, Ford, White over Cup and Flex. So Chuba, Jerome Ford, or Rashad White. Any of those 3 running backs are you going to play over Cooper Kupp in the flex?
I'll play Rashad White over Kupp in the flex against Houston.
Love it.
Not a great defense,
PPR
especially when exactly. Especially when it comes to receiving backs. Bijan Robinson lit him up. So, and White gets like 8 targets a game. I think it's a bounce back spot for Tampa Bay's offense, and Rashad White finds the end zone.
There it is. Puka or Flowers?
Zay all day, baby. Zay
all day. We have Zay ranked this week in our the player profile weekly rankings, wide receiver 12, baby. Spicy. Let's get it going. Damn, a lot of Puka talk today. Thor's asking Puka, Addison, DJ Moore, or Darrell Henderson, half-point PPR.
Puka, Addison, DJ Moore, or Henderson. That's, oh man, not a spot you thought you were going to be in week 9 if you have those first 3 players. But, so I'm going to just go with, oh my God, probably Puka, just because, no, DJ Moore. I'm going to flip and DJ Moore against a Saints defense who, even though they have Marshawn Lattimore, has been struggling to stop the pass in these past few weeks. DJ Moore has been getting heavy targets from Tyson Bagent, who's now going to be in his 3rd start. He's going to face a hefty front 7, but I think Bagent's getting comfortable, especially when he's thrown to DJ Moore. So it's a bit of the shot in the dark. I'll admit I hate having to have this decision on Sunday,
but
tough. I'm going to lean DJ Moore.
Yeah, I'm going to go DJ Moore as well. Kyle Pitts or Trey McBride? I think we kind of answered the Pitts speculation. So the McBride speculation. So I'm going to go Pitts. Where are you at here?
Pitts. Yep. I believe in Heineke.
Heineke, no Drake London, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, the balls should be flying Kyle Pitts' way. I mean, it's Arthur Smith. Is he going to? No, let's not put
it's deader than dead. It just side note, he is deader than dead if he doesn't do it under Heineke this week, especially.
Yeah. Exactly. Stash AJ Dillon or QJ with Palmer out. So not a starts question, but a stash question.
QJ, because we know who AJ Dillon is, and Aaron Jones is now back healthy. We know who AJ Dillon is even without Aaron Jones, and QJ at least has some room to grow. He's a rookie in the 1st round draft capital, and he's going to have an opportunity in this offense for the rest of the season with no Mike Williams. So, QJ is still a bit of a wild card. So the favorable stash.
I'm going to actually go with AJ Dillon here because what we know about AJ Dillon is he stinks until the end of the year. When it gets cold in Lambeau, he's good for a couple 20-point games. I'm just not a believer in QJ. I don't think you'll ever play him. I think he's roster clutter more than anything, where a running back at the end of the year may be something that you need more than anything. Royce Freeman or JSN? Whoa, what a question. Matt, do you think we'd ever be here? Going into the season, that the choice would be, should I start Royce Freeman or Jackson Smith-Njigba?
See, no, I did not think we would end up here, but I think deep down, everyone knows we always do end up here. It doesn't.
That's right.
We don't know who it's going to be, but
that's correct.
We always end up with Royce Freeman or JSN, Latavius Murray, or insert name, but like it happens
for
every
sure,
year.
for sure.
And I'm going to go Royce Freeman because they are going to try and pound the rock against a Packers team that, I don't love it, but it's Royce Freeman. He's going to get the touches. JSN is going to be the third option on a team that is 6-point underdogs and could get stifled against Baltimore, who is shown to be one of the more elite defenses in the league.
I'm gonna agree with you, Matt. I'm going Royce Freeman. He was my running back in the bargain bin on the game plan yesterday, and it looks like Jackson Smith and Jigba is going to be lining up against Arthur Mollett most of the day, who has been the most effective shutdown corner on Baltimore's secondary. So I'm going to go with Royce Freeman, and I may be sick to my stomach around 155 with this decision, but I'm going with it as well. Nico Collins or Devontae Smith, full point PPR.
Nico Collins. Devonta Smith. No, I'm flipping already. Devonta Smith.
I love it because I was going to say I'm going Devontae Smith here. He's got a little bit easier of a matchup in a game that I know it's two good defenses in that divisional game, but we've seen the Cowboys and Eagles be absolute shoot 'em ups before. I mean, we saw it last year. Gardner Minshew had 3 or 4 touchdowns against his team. I mean, they do go off against each other.
Yeah, and that's where it comes down to me is like how much points are going to be in the total game, right? So if we see a shootout in Houston and a barn burner in Philadelphia, you're probably going to want it flipped, right? But I do think Vegas has the Eagles Cowboys game at a higher over under, so lean that way with Devonta Smith, who I've been trying to buy low everywhere I can.
Yeah, Devontae Smith. He had a great game in week 8. So I think this is the time where it starts piling on because, he's been a buy low. Jason's in the chat. Good luck today, fellas. He's just the sweetest. Jason, you're the man. Good luck to you as well. I don't know if we're playing each other in TGIF, but if we are, no good luck, but I don't think we are. So good luck to you. Dustin Brown, can we drop Ahmed in Dynasty for a guy or for a full in a guy a chance with A-Chain? I think that's supposed to be with A-Chain coming back. Not a chance come back. I'm pretty sure it says a chance.
Yeah, I was struggling with that one, but yeah,
me too.
I had Salvon Ahmed in a couple of leagues, and honestly, I think it was the game when Jeff Wilson got returned from IR. There was still some ambiguity there, and then I didn't see it from him then, so it's over. If he can't get on the field with Wilson and Mostert, it's not going to happen. And no one's going to be clamoring to buy him either. So if anything does happen where injuries happen again, you got a shot at him.
Yeah, I'm with you. That I do not think there's a chance that he could get you anything on the open market. So he's a fine. He's got a cut. I don't believe that at all. All right, so we're talking a little defense here. New England, Atlanta, or Green Bay. So Atlanta, New England, Green Bay. Which defense should you start here?
I'm definitely not starting New England with a full-time starting quarterback who's good at football. So it's definitely down to Atlanta or Green Bay, facing backup quarterbacks. Minnesota doesn't have a run game. They just traded they traded their top O-lineman, and Atlanta's front seven got an upgrade during the trade deadline. So I have Atlanta rostered in multiple leagues, and they're one of my top defensive picks this week.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Atlanta as well. Belichick yourself before you riggedy wreck yourself. Tank Dell or Cream Hunt? PPR for the flex.
Tank Dell.
Hell yeah, it's definitely Tank Dell. He has a chance to go big time today against the Buccaneers. They're actually.
Although Ian Hartitz put Tank Dell as his helicopter pick, so
over $102. I know, and that has not been good. I don't think in a little while. So
I don't know the last time it's hit, but he goes for it every week.
Yeah. Gotta love the shots, but I do think Tank Dell. I'm going over Cream Hunt.
Yep.
PPR. Okay, we're sitting one. Are we sitting Nico, Chris Olave, Evans, or Metcalf? Which one of these 4 are we sitting?
Collins. And that's a good, this is a good position to have yourself in.
Oh, yeah.
Because you have 4 solid options here. But, Nico is still in that tier below the other three players there. Now the one if I were to not sit Nico Collins, it would be DK Metcalf.
Okay, so you're saying if he's lockstep, he just feels it in his gut that he needs Nico, you're okay sitting Metcalf. That'd be the second sit.
Yeah, I think if you're in a spot where you really need some guaranteed points and not so much, a game-breaking ceiling that Metcalf has, I think, Nico could be a solid pick there because, Metcalf's ceiling, I think you were the one who tweeted about it. We haven't seen Metcalf's ceiling like over and over and over again. And so we have to reach a point where we have to start lowering our expectations. And so now I think Metcalf is closer to Nico Collins than a lot of people want to admit.
I couldn't agree with you more. So we're looking at Josh Downs and Demario Douglas. This is quite easily Josh Downs for me.
Yeah, if he's in the lineup, I don't care about what his practice schedule was like. Obviously, you risk it being pretty serious, him tweaking it and being out for the rest of the game. But I generally lean, if they're good enough to go, unless it's like a groin or hamstring that's been lingering. We know those injuries are tough on game performance. But leaning Josh Downs here for sure.
Yeah, I'm going. We have him at wide receiver 11 here this week for the player profile ranks. So we're very, very high on him. He pops in a number of metrics in this matchup too. He's going to be getting Troy Hill of the Carolina Panthers, and he has not really been all that good this year. Jay Millett. Jay, what up, Jay? Chance on Downs in PPR or play Elijah or Cook. So we're looking at Josh Downs, Elijah Moore, Brandon Cooks. Again, pretty easily Josh Downs for me, but does Elijah Moore or Brandon Cooks interest you at all, Matt?
No, I would slot Douglas over Moore and Cooks. So this is just as easy of a question as the last one, Downs.
Yeah, very good. Okay, so that's all the questions we have now. As we're waiting for these questions to pile in, let me ask you this, because I thought we'd see a little bit more of these players than we did. We saw a lot more Puka talk, which I was not expecting thoroughly, but let me just get your general opinion so anyone who's tuning in now can kind of maybe make their decisions based on what you have to say. Singletary looks like he's going to be the lead back in Houston with Pierce out. Keontae Ingram looks like he will be the lead back in Arizona with 5 other running backs out. And the third guy that I thought would be a little bit more talked about this week would be Chuba Hubbard. So what's your quick thoughts on Hubbard versus Singletary and Keontae Ingram?
I love Singletary because here's a little thing. So I called Singletary being a better fantasy asset at value than Dameon Pierce back in August because
you're a genius, Matty. You're a genius.
No, because there's a reason that Devin Singletary was around Buffalo so long with Josh Allen, right? Like he can pass protect. That's one of his biggest traits. And so he's going to be out there protecting CJ Stroud, and he's going to assume all the carries that would normally go to Pierce, and he's going to assume the 1 or 2 targets that are going to go to Pierce. And we're going to see a vintage Devin Singletary starting running back game where you were not going to like to watch it. If you watch every single carry, every single target, you're going to want to puke. But at the end of the day, he's going to find a way to be a top 24 back, top 26 back, top 30 back. He's valuable. He's a flex play everywhere you got him, unless, your teams are stacked. But Devin Singletary, much, much better than Dameon Pierce. We will never see a Dameon Pierce game again where he gets 20 carries unless Devin Singletary is hurt. It's just not going to happen. Chuba Hubbard, now the starting running back of the Carolina Panthers.
Getting the vote of confidence from Frank Reich.
Yeah, and I mean, we saw Sanders came back to 18% of the snaps and 2 carries. So, and Hubbard is electric and when he gets the ball, and Frank Reich knows this. And Frank Reich, there's a lot of I think Frank Reich's job could be on the line because they're not going to waste any time with getting more competent head coaching for Bryce Young. And that you see what's happened with Justin Fields not finding the right guys, and Frank Reich has already given up play calling, and he just doesn't seem like he has a stranglehold on this team. So this is an important decision for them to get right, and I think they did, and they're going to prove themselves with the big Chuba Hubbard game today.
Oh, I love that call. I do love that call because at the end of the day, you hear these stories, right, from David Tepper, the owner, and they don't sound like he is a guy that's going to sit back and wait. So Frank Reich's seat could get very hot very quick, and he's going to obviously play his better players. Miles Sanders, outside of just running a lot of routes and catching some passes we weren't expecting, has done diddly squat. as a player in fantasy for the Carolina Panthers. So give it to Hubbard. And then Ingram, do you care about Ingram at all? Or are you just looking elsewhere if you can?
Yeah, I'm looking elsewhere when I can. Going up against a stout Cleveland Browns defense in a game with a rookie quarterback. And then I think they have their bye next week, if I'm remembering correct. Oh, no, they have Atlanta next week. Sorry. But their bye week is approaching. And James Conner is more than likely going to be back after the bye. The talks are already that he could be good to go for Atlanta next week, which would not surprise me because Kyler Murray is also going to be active for Atlanta this week or next week. They're saving up Michael Wilson to be active for Atlanta next week.
The unveiling. The grand opening.
Just let you know, next week is the grand opening of the Arizona Cardinals.
We got to tweet that, man. That's pretty good. Clip that. That's a good clip. That is absolutely happening. So we got some more questions. Let's get back and start rattling through. Mike's asking Nico or DJ Moore. A lot of Nico talk today. A lot of questions.
All right. So I don't know what happened to Matty just there, but yeah, there is a lot of Nico talk going on right now. And he's back in. What happened there?
You have an iMac. You know how fickle the mouse can be. And I just happened to hit it in a way that it backed me to the screen previous to this one. So it just booted me for a second. But yeah,
Nico did that like little swipe.
Yeah, it just Apple.
I had to turn that off.
Oh, you can do that? Okay. We're gonna talk after the show because I need that off because I do that once a month on one of these shows.
Oh my gosh. Well, you are correct. There's a lot of Nico questions, and it's because, he was somebody who's massively out hit his draft capital, and now he's in a range where he doesn't necessarily quite belong with, a DJ Moore, given Fields is at the quarterback position, but he's still a weekly lineup decision that people have to make. So I'm going with Nico Collins here, just better quarterback in an offense that's likely to score more points. So I go Nico Collins here.
I'm going Nico Collins as well. Fired up, and it hurts me because you know me, I love DJ Moore, but Nico is the guy this week. Jeez Louise, Uncle Ted, look at this. This is an impossible talk about an impossible decision. Bijan, JT, or Ken Walker III. Pick one, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean, that's the luxury of probably being 0-4. Because JT on your bench, and KW3 was doing well at the beginning of the season. Anyway, I mean, that's what happens when you plan for week 9 and not plan for the first few weeks of the season in fantasy football. You end up with Bijan, JT, and Kenneth Walker, all who had some pretty friendly ADPs, or JT and KW3. Anyway, to answer the question, JT, Bijan. We don't know. Bijan's going to be splitting carries with Algier, and KW3 is going to be splitting carries with Zach Charbonnet. So I think JT, who has gotten some increased usage more every week since he's come back, I think this Zach Moss talk is some smoke screens, and we see another 100-plus total yard week and a score from Jonathan Taylor.
So to me, I look at all three of these running backs. Obviously, they're wildly talented, but they're all kind of in similar situations where they're the best running back on the team, but they are absolutely, submitting a little bit of shares to somebody else. And since that's kind of the case, we have them ranked within only 6 of each other. I'm going to go with the best matchup, and that's JT. JT's got the Swiss cheese Carolina run defense, where Ken Walker has Baltimore, which if the game paces up, maybe it's more Zach Charbonnet. And Bijan's got a stout Minnesota defense against the run. They don't surrender a ton against that run deep. So I'm going to go with JT for this for sure. So Seth's Smith Brickner. He's dealing with his own personal buy-mageddon. Does he go Akers, Rondale, or Bateman for his last flex? Ooh, boy.
Ooh. I'm going to go with Rondale Moore with no Michael Wilson is going to open up some targets. It's going to force Marquise Brown to play a little bit more outside. And so Rondale Moore is going to see an increased target share, in my opinion. Your only worry there is Greg Dortch having the Dorchening happen again. But I actually do like some sneaky upside in Cam Akers in a game where they're going to have to be throwing a lot. Jaron Hall, first start, going to have a lot coming at him. So he's going to have to check down, and who's their preferred or at least more talented pass catcher out of the backfield, that's Cam Akers. So we have a potential for, a 5 for 45 kind of receiving game from Akers. But so it's a toss up between him and Rondale, but I go Rondale.
I'm going Rondale too, because Michael Wilson's out and DeMercado's out. So because there's this vacated opportunities in both places where Rondale can get an extra touch or two, I'm going to go with Rondale Moore. I'm expecting a little tick up in targets, and that could be good for a guy who's pretty explosive on the field. All right. It's finally here. It's put to the test. Singletary or Chuba? Who are we going with?
Yeah, Chuba. Just oh man, it is tough because Singletary is gonna not gonna have any backfield competition, but I don't think that Sanders is gonna crack into that a lot. And because it's half PPR, that obviously limits, the gap between Singletary and Hubba. Chubba. Singletary and Chuba, the difference between their passing or receiving volumes is going to be cut in half. And so with that, I'm going to take the more effective rusher, and that's going to be Chuba Hubbard.
We have them 18 and 19 in our ranks here this week, so they're back-to-back. But Devin Singletary has a tougher matchup, and we don't know for a fact that Michael Boone doesn't take as many touches as Miles Sanders could take. So I'm going to go with the easier matchup. I'm going to go with the guy who just got the absolute, stamp of approval from his head coach. I'm going with Chuba this week. We don't seem worried about Downs' injury. I think we kind of talked a little bit about what could be the case for Downs' injury, but the truth of the matter is he tweaked something in practice, but he was limited the next 2 days. He didn't miss any days. He was limited. He's on track to play.
He didn't practice Saturday.
Oh, he didn't with the walkthrough. He didn't do the walkthrough.
Yeah, he didn't do the walkthrough. Yeah. But that's what we have Alec Pierce for.
Yeah.
If you're really in that bad of a spot, right, where if Downs doesn't go, like you need some, then that's why we have Alec Pierce, because
little insurance policy.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of pass catchers outside of Pierce then if Downs goes down. So where we could see, a very similar target share where he gets 20% of the targets.
So we got a best ball question here. Wow. Kadarius Hodge or Scotty Miller or Rager?
So I'm assuming you have to pick this person up to.
Yeah, I would imagine it's a pickup.
If
it's best ball, we're not putting him in.
I'm not going to lie to you. I remember seeing something about it, but I can't tell you right now who Scotty Miller plays for.
He plays for the Falcons, I believe.
Okay. I kind of thought that.
Yes, I believe it's the Falcons.
I'm going with Scotty Miller. I'll take the one attached to Heineke who could be a deep threat. We know he likes to push the ball downfield. Rager was instantly out of the conversation the moment his name was listed.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Think about it this way. I didn't even know who Scotty Miller played for, and I was still preferring him over Rager, even if he was unsigned.
They're all in the same boat because, listen, Kadarius Hodge is not going to step into Drake London. Drake London's role is going to be easily slipped right into by Mac Hollins. Similar type player, obviously not as good, but similar type player. He'll slide into that role. They'll have a lot more for Bijan, for Pitts, and Mac Hollins. And if I'm going to go with anyone, give me the guy who has a chance to catch a 60-yard bomb from Tyler Heineke. I'm with you on Scotty Miller. That's what he did with Brady. Every once in a while, he would just have 3 catches. 2 of them would go deep, and 1 would be for a touchdown, and he made the day. So roll with Stroud or drop him and pick up to start Love, Heineke, Geno, Minshew, or Mayfield.
Stroud. Roll with Stroud. Here.
I'm rolling with Stroud. Big country, Atlanta or Packers defense?
Atlanta. I think that might have been the original question that was asked.
That was one of them.
Yeah, that was for clarification, or is that a new question?
No, it's a new person asking a similar question. So we had the New England, Atlanta, or Packers. We both took Atlanta. So I think we're both taking Atlanta over Green Bay right now too.
Right.
So with buys hurting, wide receiver 2, he's picking between Cooks, Moore, Reed, JSN, Shakir, or Noah Brown. Which one should Evelyn put in for her wide receiver 2?
Ooh, I'm going with. Shockingly, the decision I have right now is between Jaden Reed and Khalil Shakir.
Ooh, interesting.
Matt Harmon did a nice little video on his Reception Perception podcast about how the Bills could have accidentally found their best offense with Khalil Shakir with Dawson Knox out. So he had a big game last week, and it was a real big reason why Buffalo was able to move the ball so well versus Tampa. And I think they go back to him again this week as a propeller of the offense. But in Jaden Reed's slot role, I think he's going to be a locked-in target today versus the Rams. He's going to be the one that they're scheming up to try and get some touches in, and he's going to be the one who's more than likely to score a touchdown given his red zone work. So more likely to score, similar target shares. I'm going to go with Jaden Reed.
I'm going January 2. We have 2 more questions, and we're going to get out of here. Half-point PPO, Downs or Johnston?
Downs.
Yeah, it's Downs for me, for sure.
And then just obviously put in Quentin if Downs is out.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to have to start Charbonnet over Downs or stick with Downs. Everyone else is on their bye. So it's either Charbonnet or Downs. Which one should Tom go with?
Downs.
Oh, yeah. I'm going Downs quite easily. Big Country, how high are we on Singletary? We talked about Singletary. We like Singletary this week, but we're taking Hubbard over Singletary in seemingly the handcuff now elevated to RB1 matchup. But that's going to wrap up Start or Stream. Matt, thanks for hanging out on this Sunday afternoon, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to come back sometime.
Yeah, we'll do it again. I love to start a stream with somebody else. It's a lot of fun to ping pong, off of each other. But we'll get it going. We'll have to do it again sometime. There's plenty of weeks left of the season. But yeah, enjoy your Sundays, everybody, and good luck. And we'll catch you in week 10.